Hello and welcome, Sarah, to Social Media Genius. Lovely of you to join us. Sarah Townsend, marketing copywriter and best-selling author of Survival Skills for Freelancers. Give us a show. Yep. And what a story. It's just brilliant. The buzz on Freelancers Day. I mean, obviously you tied it in with that, but the buzz it just was amazing. Couldn't go anywhere on social media without falling over it.
Oh no. I'm really hoping it hasn't got to the stage where people are just sick to the back teeth of seeing the name of the book, but I am just really hoping. I mean, for me, the big issue now is not wanting to lose momentum. So it's really important for me that I keep following up with people who I know have bought it, you know, when they tell me they finished it, to kind of go, oh, you know, it would be amazing if you leave me a review, because now the launch kind of excitement is over. It's only natural that it's going to start heading down the charts again. I was absolutely delighted to have hit bestseller in 3 categories, but it doesn't last long. I think I stayed in Kindle starting a small business for 4 days before I lost it, which in itself was great. But just wanting to keep the book visible so that I can continue to help as many people as possible is my drive now.
Yeah, it's all about visibility, isn't it, really?
Yeah,
getting traction on social media, so important.
32.8 million books on Amazon titles. So yeah, 19.2 paperbacks in the UK alone. So different titles. So that's how hard it is to stay visible. And I made it to just below 1,000. I was like 1,078. I was like, damn, I wanted to get to the top 1,000, but can't win them all.
You did so well with it.
Thank you.
Yeah. So obviously you wanted to give back to the community, which I love. I mean, that's social goodness in action just right there.
Yeah.
And you know, the feedback you've got must be amazing.
It's been originally at the start of the project, my goal was, because I have been freelancing for 20 years. When I started out, I knew nothing about working for yourself at all. I was just trying to fit a bit of work around being a mum, and I had very little guidance to get started myself, and it was like way pre-internet, and internet had just come in, because when I left my last employed role, we had one computer in the office that had the internet on, and it was big, some scary, like arcane dark art kind of thing, but there was no social media. So there was no Facebook groups, no online, no Zoom meetings, no calls, none of this. So I kind of really struggled the first few years, because I am naturally quite an extroverted person, and I do like being around people, and I find it energizes me. So having to kind of do everything myself was a real struggle. So I don't want people to feel like that now. Hopefully nobody would, but I've had such great feedback about how it's quite sweet, really. Like, people have said it feels like a comforting arm around your shoulders, telling you that everything's going to be okay. And someone else said, it's like warm wisdom from a wise auntie or something. I thought, I'll be the freelancer's auntie any day of the week. Happy with that. The freelancer's friend.
I want to quote that. Sarah is the freelancer's auntie.
Yeah, it's been great.
Yeah, it's great. So have you actually made a little Facebook group or anything, or is it still just on Twitter and LinkedIn?
No.
Where are you? Where's the conversation?
Where am I? That's a good question. I would say more Twitter and LinkedIn than anything. I'm not a fan of Facebook. I don't use it for individual use at all. I have a page. I very rarely update it. And I've got 800 odd friends on Facebook, but it's not been the most supportive community for me. So I pulled right away from that, and I haven't even really made an announcement on there about launching the book. So for me, it's all about Twitter. I do Twitter and LinkedIn most of all. I also do Instagram, but that's really more for my own kind of enjoyment because I love taking photos. I've got quite a lot of followers on there as well, but I've said at the back of the book, and this was a really good tip that someone gave me early on, to put like a next steps page in the book at the back and say, if you want to stay in touch, feel free to drop me a connection request on LinkedIn. Just say that you've read the book and let me know what you liked about it. And that started happening already. So people are contacting me and saying, I've just read your book, you know, I'd love to connect, and oh, I found it so reassuring, and it's great to know that I'm on the right track, and all this kind of thing. So yeah, it's been really nice. It's really working.
Yeah, great. So tell me, if for people who are thinking to write their own books, and a lot of people do, I mean, I think it's one of the big goals, isn't it? It's to write your own book. What tips would you share?
Yeah, it's ironic really, because I originally, in my first draft of the manuscript for the book, I had a chapter that actually touched on the fact that I'd never had that goal to write a book because I write for a living, and therefore why in the world would I want to spend my spare time writing when that's what I do day in, day out? But that got lost along the way on the cutting room floor. Talk to people, ask people who have been through the process. I did that at the very start of my process. Spoke to people I knew who were other freelancers who've written books themselves and had gone through the process of self-publishing. People like Tom Alberton, Robin Waite, and Steve Morgan, who wrote Anti-Cell. And I just asked if I could pick their brains. And like I say, it's never been comfortable for me to ask for help, but I kind of made it clear that if there was anything that I could do for them, if they wanted to kind of ever pick my brains about anything in return, they're more than willing to do so. And they just kind of talked me through the things that they'd learned. And my kind of ultimate goal was, what do you wish you'd known at the end of the process, right back at the beginning? And do you know what? I don't feel like for me there's been enough. I don't think the dust has settled enough to quite be ready to answer that question. It's just such a phenomenal learning curve, because I can write, I write for a living, I can edit. So I wrote and edited it myself, on the whole. But the actual process of how to market a book, how to kind of build a buzz around it, that was all new to me. I've never done that. I mean, I write press releases for my clients. I've never written a press release for myself before. I didn't have a clue what to do with it or who to send it to. I still don't. But yeah, no, I would say talk to people who've been through the process, and you'll find that people tend to be quite passionate about having been through that process. And I found everybody I asked was willing to talk to me. And that was just the best possible start. It really was.
I mean, it's just so easy, isn't it, to connect with people on social media. You can pretty much rock up on Twitter and ask anybody.
Yeah,
it's amazing when you think about it.
Yeah, I've still got certain people that I kind of thought throughout the process, I wish I was connected to that person because I'd love to ask her. And I kind of, you know, people that you really look up to, and I must admit, I didn't get the courage to approach those people, because again, it's what Sonia was talking about at lunchtime. I didn't want people to feel like I was contacting them because I wanted something. It was different with people that I already knew, because I knew that they wouldn't kind of go, God, you know, who does she think she is, asking for free advice or whatever. It wasn't ever like that. I didn't ever feel like that. So because I've called on the power of the freelance community in the book, it just was a natural next step really to ask the people who'd been so supportive already to say, would you go one step further and help me spread the word? You know, anything you can do in terms of, if you want to tweet about it, or take a photo of the book, share it, you know, it's all going to help me. And I think probably realistically, people would have picked up on the fact that it was never about sales for me. So a couple of people have said to me, how many copies have you sold? I don't have the first clue. I know I've sold copies in America, because I've got 2 reviews in the US market, which is pretty damn cool. I've sold copies in Australia. I had one person who I knew through Twitter who received her copy in Portugal yesterday. So it's kind of gone global. It's never been about sales. So I think people pick up on that kind of, maybe there's a bit of it feels a bit altruistic, like my motive is pure, if that makes sense.
Authentic. I think the word is authentic.
It is authentic. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah,
You are authentic. And a lot of businesses could learn a lot from what you've done, because you are in the heart of the community. You've pulled it all together. You've asked the community to spread the word, and you're writing something that helps them and resonates with them, so they willingly help you and spread the word. And I think there's a lot of takeaways there that people, business people, well, we're all business people at the end of the day, in the freelance community and the small business community. But, going up the scale, CMOs and marketing people, I think they could learn a lot from what you have learned and what you've done. Yeah. I mean, that is the second book. It's just, business guide to building a community that sells for you. Brilliant.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's not, it's not my community, it's your Mark's community with You Are the Media, and they've kind of become a bit of a networking family for me, I suppose, because I mean, particularly during lockdown, I don't think I've missed a single fortnightly lunch club. And those guys have been fantastic. And Mark particularly has been incredibly supportive. So it's not like I've kind of gone out there and gone, hey, like you say, I could have set up a Facebook group. I haven't done that. In all honesty, I don't think I have the headspace to do that right now, because last week I actually gave myself the week off client work to focus on marketing and promo for the book, because I want, it's my little book baby. I want to give it the best possible chance out in the big wide world. So I did take that time off client work, and then this week I have been swamped because I've been trying to catch up, and it has taken its toll. And the irony of the fact that the book is How to Ace Self-Employment Without Burnout, and I'm like, oh I need to rest. But the adrenaline is obviously still coursing through my veins, and it's still very much exciting and exhilarating. And long may it continue, because the longer it continues, the more people I'm going to help. That's what it's all
brilliant.
About.
It's so brilliant. Thank you for taking the time to talk to us. It's just brilliant to share your story. It's so much there to be proud of and to cherish. I love it.
That means a lot. Thank you.
Oh,